Hey guys, welcome back to Beaneater Buzz. Jordan Hunt back again with my friend Colleen McGuire as always.
Everyone.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's
Yeah.
been a pretty good weekend, and opening day's 4 days away.
Yeah.
Starting to feel like
it's
spring
nice.
weather-wise,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
baseball
I actually
always.
mowed the grass today, which was like 2 weeks too late. So it was kind of a pain in the ass. But yes, it's nice. I don't know how the weather is up there, but like it's like 75 degrees here.
Oh wow.
For like
No, we're
yeah,
at
for
about
like
62.
for like the past 5 days, it's been like 75 degrees all day, every day, and it's just sunny and pretty, and it's just like you said,
That's nice.
feels like
Yeah.
baseball season, which
Spring
is
is in the
just it just makes you so happy. So we're back with the player profile projections. I got a few of these I got to roll out this week before opening day, so I'll probably be hammering them back to back the next couple days. That is my fault. I've been very busy, a lot going on. I have to be up at like 6 o'clock tomorrow to go to a hospital an hour away. It's just every day it feels like I'm doing that right now. So today we're going to cover left field because we already covered center field and right field. And we've kind of got a lot of left field options, which I think was probably by design.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alex kind of went with the whole if you throw enough shit at the wall, something found to stick. Yeah. You know, like he just kind of, and I mean, I think a lot of us were very reluctant to go ahead and just accept that, as we just talked about, it is nearly impossible for Eddie Rosario not to be better than he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can even get a league average offense from Eddie Rosario, like that's a huge upgrade because he was absolutely terrible last year. And we'll go over that in a minute. So left field is definitely one of those positions that we entered this spring, we entered the offseason thinking, well, we have to upgrade there or shortstop. And we didn't really upgrade anyway.
We didn't really do either of those things.
So, yeah, but hey, whatever. Like, Alex is just once again
playing chess, right?
Yeah,
when we're playing checkers.
Like, way ahead of us. He knew this months. He probably went into the offseason and he was like, I don't need a shortstop or a left fielder. I'm going to go get the best catcher on the market, and everybody's going to be confused as hell. And it's going to work out, and it's going to look awesome in spring training because every single one of these left field options is going to look great. And then we're going to have decisions to make, and it's just like, Alex, whatever you do, man, you go ahead and do it. So we'll jump into, I guess we'll just start off with Rosario because it kind of seems he's going to be the incumbent guy. Like, I think we could all agree that he's going to basically be the guy until he proves he cannot be the guy. Would you agree with that?
I think so. I mean, he's the one making the most money and who I think they've put the highest of hopes in. So I think he'll get the majority of time out there. Just see how his bat plays. I mean, we know what his defense is.
Yeah, it's
so if his bat is playing, I mean, they might do a little bit of platooning depending on the situation, but I think for the most part it'll be him out there.
Right, and I mean, I consider the WBC kind of part of his spring training.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was actually way more intense. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, that's like playing live, meaningful.
It's like playing in the, I don't know, the 2021 National League Championship Series, which, went pretty well for Eddie Rosario. I mean, I would, liken it to those games, postseason games, like guys playing for his country. So, like everything's on the line for him. His numbers weren't great in the WBC. He had an RBI double, and then he had a couple of homers. I don't know if he had any singles. I don't think he had that many hits, to be honest. But
He didn't do a
he
lot.
was
I just remember that
notably
one home run. Yeah.
Yeah, he had one homer to right field that landed in the bullpen down there in Miami, and then he had that one homer to dead center. I can't remember who was pitching that game.
Was that the Mexico game? Was that Urias?
It was Urias. Yeah,
okay,
that's what was notable about it. It was Urias. So it was a left-handed pitcher too.
That's right, because I remember Mark Bowman joking about like he's still killing the Dodgers or whatever that was. So yes, that was that.
He's still crushing the Dodgers 2 years later, even after he lost one of the balls. Like
one-eyed Eddie still killing.
So yeah. So if you combine spring training with the WBC, maybe the average doesn't look good. But what does look good is he had some big hits. He's had 3 homers combined, 2 in the WBC, 1 today. And
he's making contact and hitting the ball hard.
Yeah. He's not striking out very much at all.
Exactly. Like, so I'm like, he's obviously seeing the ball better.
Right. Right. And that was always his MO was like big contact guy.
It's he just looks better overall at the plate, I think.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. I've made this joke a couple times, but like, it's amazing how much better you can be at baseball when not blind. And like when both your eyes are working, I know it sounds like a joke, but like that was the reality.
No, it's crazy to think about how those first several weeks last year, this man was literally trying to play baseball with like
he had a couple hits.
The entire like center of his eye was just completely gone.
Yeah, he had a couple hits he was blind. Literally, he was blind. He had a couple hits. That was pretty unbelievable for me. But
I think what's funny is a couple of them were against the Dodgers.
Right.
It's like that magic power overtakes.
He was just, he is like their nightmare. Like, and I've talked to a few Dodger fans since then who were like, that was such a fucking fluke. And it's like, yeah, it definitely was, but we don't give a shit. Yeah. You think the 2018 Red Sox give a shit that Steve Pearce won the ALCS MVP and the World Series MVP? Fuck no, they got a fucking trophy. They don't give a shit who got it for them. So, I am excited about Eddie. I'm going to make a bold prediction right now. I think Eddie hits 20 homers again this year. I think he looks good enough that even when he's not getting hits.
20. Ooh, okay. So he hasn't hit 20 since 2019.
2019.
Which, granted, he was. I'm looking at 2020. Obviously, it was shortened season. So he hit 32 in 2019. 24 the year before, 27. So he's had a few 20 homer seasons.
But see, 2020. How many do you have in 2020?
13.
13 in 60 games, really? Well, that's pretty nice.
In 57.
That's like that's almost a 40 homer pace.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe
I didn't know that. So
say
15,
that's cool. But I like 20.
But
I like the
then I think he had 9 in 2021, right?
14. He might have had 9 with the Braves. Let me look.
But he missed a lot of games.
7 and 7. Yeah. He only played about 111 games. Yeah.
Right. So he missed a lot of games there. If he played 162 or even 150, probably gets over 20 there. Last year, he missed the majority of the season.
You're right.
He still has that 20 homer power.
May not be so bold.
Yeah. So I think it's that bold, but I think a lot of people would see it as bold because what you just said was like, he hasn't done it in this many years. It's like, well, but I think we all know who Eddie is, and like he can pop some homers. He's not going to hit 300. He's probably not going to get on base more than 30% of the time, maybe a little bit higher than that, but we don't need that. And
right, he's going to be hitting 7th, 8th, 9th in the lineup. It's not like we need this guy at the top of the lineup to be getting things going.
Right.
So,
and it's going to be like, I don't know, I'd say he's probably going to slot in at the 8 hole most of the time.
That sounds about right. probably
Because if you think about the top 7, like
9.
they're pretty much all set.
Unless they put Ozzy, lefty Ozzy
batting
down
9th,
there. 8th.
I mean, that's certainly
it does
possible.
feel low, but yeah, I agree that Eddie would be below him, but you never know what Snit does. He might put Eddie at.
Probably also depends on who's got the hot hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're right. 7, 8, 9 is going to be where he's at. He's probably very rarely going to bat higher than that. And if he is batting higher than that, it means a couple regulars got the day off.
Right. Or it's some pitcher he's been successul against or something like that where they're like, oh, let's put him 5 or 6 today. But I agree. He's not going to be very high.
Or watch Acuna go out with like a hamstring injury at some point.
Don't put him to the
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but didn't Eddie lead off in the postseason in 2021?
That's what I was going to say. And Snit just puts him back in the leadoff spot again.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, he's got 2 eyes now. He can't be that bad. So, yeah. Rosario is going to be fine. Like you said, his defense, we know what that is. It's never going to be Gold Glove. So, except for that one time in the World Series when he made that ridiculous play that I watched like 5 times today.
Super Rosario.
Yeah.
Dude, this is crazy because I'm just like looking at his like fan graphs and I'm like, this man with the Braves had a 133 weighted runs created plus in the 33 games he played with the Braves in 2021.
Probably, I'd say,
which is higher than
his.
Yeah, his highest one was in 2017. He had a 117. That's probably his best season.
And he hit like 36 homers.
27.
27. Okay.
That year.
Oh, that was in 2017. 2019. Wait, he hit 30. How many homers in 2019? 36.
32.
32, and his weighted runs created plus
was 104. And then in 2017. He hit 27 homers, and it was a 117 weighted runs created.
Well, that 2019 season is pretty Adam Duvall-ish.
I'd take that out of him for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we've taken that out of Adam Duvall for a couple of years. I mean, the defense isn't Adam Duvall, but, anyways. So I've got projections for Eddie for 2023. 243, 285, 398. 296 WOBA, and 87 weighted runs created plus. They've got him hitting 13 homers, 54 RBI. And I don't know how many games that would be in.
106.
106. So if they think he's 13 homers and 106, maybe my prediction of 20 homers isn't that bold.
Feels low for Eddie. I feel like he's going to do better than that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that they're just
going off last year because you don't know what like he will produce, and given his last year, you're like, yeah, he's horrible. But
because they also
he seems healthy and has good vision. He seems healthy and with 20/20 vision.
Yeah, and like you said, he's making good contact. Like he's not striking out a ton. And last year when he couldn't see, he was striking out like crazy. By
it was a lot of quick
at
bats.
Strikeout percentage
and just swings where you're like, he has no idea where that ball is.
Yeah. So, and we talked about this on one of the last pods that we did. Them projecting him at 106 games. I don't understand how they project that because they've got Ozzy projected at like 130 games. Dude's played 150 games every year when he's healthy. Every indication is that Ozzy's perfectly healthy. So you would have to be projecting injury to believe that he's going to miss 30 games. So now Rosario is a little different at 106 because he plays probably going to play in a little bit of a platoon at times, especially if he struggles against lefties. But I don't know. I agree with you. I think he plays in more like 125-ish.
Yeah. Especially, like we said, if he's hitting, if he's producing, if he's absolutely awful, then probably not so much. But if he's looks good at the plate, I don't see why he wouldn't be hitting.
Right. And I mean, they might at some point decide to give, say, whichever right-handed guy is there at the time, Pilar, Duplo, White, whoever it is, they might give them some starts against left-handed pitching. So that might take a few starts away from him. But I expect Eddie to get the majority of the starts in left field,
Mhm.
and then kind of just roll from there. The next one I've got is Luplo, because he was technically the only other guaranteed deal, even though he has options and has
Mhm.
already been optioned down.
Yeah. Which I'm sure him
So
being injured to start spring didn't help. I
definitely
think if
played a
he
part in
had
that.
a full spring,
Yeah. And the way
he
he
would
was
be.
swinging it too, like he looked pretty good. Of course, he still might have gone down if they wanted to keep Pilar, because it seems
Yeah.
like they do like Pilar and they want to keep him around. And if they would have sent him down, or if they would have told him he wasn't making the team, he had an opt out where he could have left and gone to play anywhere. And you know how they are about depth, guys. They love their depth.
Can't lose any of those guys.
You can't lose Adrian's or those Michael Tompkins. Who did you see? He's going to make the team.
I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But luckily, it's Nick Anderson and Tonkin are
Yes.
making the team. So I think it would have really aggravated some people if he made the team and Nick Anderson was just like, "You're back on the bus, man.
I
Going
had
back
to
AAA."
Yeah. When Iglesias was injured, I was like, I'm hoping Anderson's next in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and he
that's
has
good.
looked great. And of course, we'll
Mhm.
go over that in our next episode, the pitching episode, but he's looked phenomenal.
Mhm.
Do you have what Luplo did last year?
I do.
Okay.
So he played in 83 games, 176, 274, 361 slash line with a 78 weighted runs created plus, 281 WOBA, and a .2 WAR. Yeah.
How many homers he hit? 11?
He had 11 home runs.
Okay. So clearly they picked him up because of what he does against left-handed pitching, or what he has historically done against left-handed pitching. I was a little bit aggravated with that narrative early in the winter because he hasn't actually hit left-handed pitching the last 2 years, and that kind of negates the reason we picked him up. But he's looked great. But
you also, it's possible Seitzer was like, "Nah, I see something I can do with that swing."
Well, also I am very reactive and diehard, and I get a little bit emotional at times. So I'm willing to admit that. The more the spring, or excuse me, I keep saying spring, the more the winter moved along, and we saw
the vision became clear. What they were doing building left field.
Yeah. It was very clear that, as we said, they were just throwing whatever they could at the wall. They're going to see what sticks in left field. Luplo's a good defender. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. He's not really a great defender, because I kept saying that, and somebody pointed out, and they're like, he's really not a good defender. I was like, oh, let me go look at that. That's true. He's not that good of a defender, but he has a very strong arm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever. And he can hit some homers against left-handed pitching, and we're only paying him $1.4 million. So whatever, he fits into the plan. And Zips actually,
I was looking at that too. Yeah, I'm like,
which is interesting.
I'll take that.
Yeah. They've got 209, 312, 446 with a 331 WOBA. In 95 games, a 111 weighted runs created plus, 15 homers, 47 RBI, and 1.3 F4.
Absolutely.
If we get that,
I was gonna say.
I mean,
Mets and Phillies fans would be so pissed.
They would be so fucking mad if he had a fucking higher WAR than the money we were paying him. I mean, that's just...
They'd be like, yep, of course.
Yeah, that's, par for the course. Sorry, I'm moving my computer a little bit. Didn't mean to do that. I'm excited about Luplo. That's an
interesting projection because he hasn't been even close to that the last 2 years.
I think what they were projecting is that he's going to get playing time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 95
in the last
games.
Couple years. Yeah, the last couple years, he hasn't really gotten a bunch of playing time. He's played in some...
Yeah, that's true.
Some platoon situations. And of course, this will be a platoon situation as well, even though Toscano earlier in the winter was projecting that he would end up being the everyday left fielder. Even over Eddie, he was projecting that. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see when he gets up. I mean, obviously he will be up at some point. It all depends on Pilar and how he performs and whatnot. So
yeah, it's
definitely the projection's very interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like you said, they don't reflect his last couple seasons. But we will see what we get there. Another interesting guy that we picked up, who has been awesome this spring, is Sam Hilliard.
Sam Hilliard. Yep.
Many of you will note that I've been on this Sam Hilliard hype train since the day we traded for him.
That was an early move.
It was like
that was like AA wanted him. Like it was like we're going for that. Yep. It was interesting that he saw something. It is,
but I think it was,
and they've the past couple of years just at the trading deadline, all that stuff. That these all fit the bill for those kind of guys that they go for. The guys that they say, oh, he's kind of been underperforming. We see something in these guys that we can tweak and fix and see what we get out of them. And we have enough of these guys. Somebody's gonna, even if they come up for 3 weeks and go off, and then they kind of fall off a little, like a Demerit a couple of years ago. Or was that last year? I don't even remember. But like that, where you're gonna get enough production like over the course of the season from each of these guys.
And I think it's the plan.
Make it work.
Ride as many of these waves as you can at the major league level. Well, hopefully one of these guys will stick, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Rosario. Maybe it's Pilar. Maybe we unlock something in Sam Hilliard, and we've got like 3 or 4 more years of control over the guy. Mm-hmm. And he does feel like a Kevin Seitzer project. He hits the ball hard. Like, he smokes balls. So he's doing pretty good there. He's got some home run power for sure. He definitely has some pop. But as I was telling you when we first got on here, he did an interview with Toscano this week. You'll notice the only guy I quote is anything from Toscano. So
the only Braves writer we trust.
He's the only one that hasn't blocked me. So there's that. But
he's not a jerk.
And it's okay. Luckily, Elon fixed Twitter, so I can still see what Bowman and David O'Brien say now, which is
really
sweet. Yeah. On your For You page. If you're blocked by somebody, it shows in your For You page now.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I hate it because I'll see all kinds of people, and I'm like, that person blocked me. How am I seeing their stuff?
Interesting.
Yeah, so, a little tidbit there. Anyways, Toscano said that Sam Hilliard told him in an interview that he spoke with Alex at Braves, and basically, like, Sam was a little bit like caught off guard by the trade, maybe a little bit, and a little bit nervous because he's like, I don't have any options left. What's going to happen? Like, if I don't perform well, am I out of a job? Like, well, what's going to happen here? And so Alex basically told him, like, we went and got you for your defense. And that's a big part of Hilliard's game. He can play right, center, left field, plays them all above average. He's got a good arm.
Yeah, I'm looking at his baseball savant page, which it doesn't have much, but what's there is very red. Like, he hits the ball very hard, is fast, and has a good arm.
Right. So what are the type of guys that Alex loves? Guys who hit the ball hard, guys who play good defense, guys who are speedy, like guys who make things happen on the field. Mm-hmm. Like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with their bat. Guys who can force the situation with their legs, with their glove, with their arm. Like, those little things make a difference. That's according to Alex Antopoulos. That is why he went and got Sam Hilliard. So I think from the moment they got Sam Hilliard, he was on the roster. Mm-hmm. Like, he was going to be the last guy on the roster no matter what. Which is exciting because I like Hilliard. Mm-hmm. And I've watched some clips of him. Kind of, like we said, he swings it. That's for sure. So we'll see how that goes. I know he didn't do too much last year. Can you touch on that?
Let's
see what he did.
All right. So he played in 70 games, 184, 280, 264 slash line with a 251 WOBA, 303 expected WOBA though. So that's interesting.
Oh wow. Okay.
And a 44 weighted runs created plus with negative 0.5 WAR. So yeah, that's not great.
Not phenomenal.
Not very great.
But I think, was he injured last year though? Or did he just get sent to AAA because of that? He played well in AAA, I believe.
Let's see if it's 2022. Yeah, he was in AAA in 2022. He must have been injured a little because he did play only 37 games, but he had a 156 weighted runs created plus.
See, he played great in AAA.
Yeah, in 37 games, I mean, that'll translate. But yeah, so.
And that was one of the things that Hilliard said in that article, was that he was committed to trying to get those AAA numbers to translate to the big leagues. And I mean, we've seen Kevin Zeitzer do some crazy things. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he could turn this guy into an average, league average hitter who could hit 20 homers, probably strike out a lot, whatever, doesn't get on base a ton, whatever, league average hitter. And then a guy with excellent defense. Like, wouldn't surprise me at all to see that. So I really like that pickup. I think the absolute worst we could get out of him is a pretty significant upgrade over Heredia.
Yeah, like I'm looking at his 2021, and it seems like something like that makes like an 84 weighted runs created plus, 0.5 WAR, 215, 294 force. Like I feel like something like that is more likely than what he did last year. But what do you have? Do you have the projections?
So I've
up?
got projections. I've got Zips projections. They've got him 202, 281, 384, 90 WOBA with 83 weighted runs created plus, which you just said 84 was his 2021. 17 homers, 57 ribbies, 9 stolen bases, 1 F4, and then 2.3 defensive F4. So,
see, I'll take that.
Again,
this also says he's got 100. They're projecting him for 122 games. Zip says. Zip's projections are so interesting because all the others are like very low. They're like, oh, he'll play 37 games. And Zips is like, no, this man is starting every day in left field.
But they've got Luplo playing 95 games. I think they've got Pilar playing a significant number of games as well.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to get all this playing time.
Yeah.
But
and I guess it's not so much the games as the projected like plate appearances. Because obviously he could pinch hit later or sub in, but a lot of this is like, no, this is
sub in as a pinch runner or defensive
replacement. Yeah.
Replacement late in the game.
They're saying he's going to get a bunch of at bats, so that's interesting.
So yeah. How many at bats do they project him for?
442.
Oh. That means they're projecting him to be like an everyday player for like a lot.
Eddie. Yeah.
That is interesting.
And more plate appearances than Eddie.
That is very interesting.
So they're like, he's
maybe they think that he's going to be utilized in center field a lot.
Maybe.
Or maybe just to break guys. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Or maybe DH. Maybe if they do unlock something, they can put him in a DH as a left field option.
Yeah, I always forget that with the DH there are options.
Because with the 3 DH guys that we've got, Ozuna, Darno, Murphy, all righties.
Yeah.
So if he is swinging it and it's tough righty out there, maybe we're facing Verlander, Scherzer, whatever, they could put Hilliard out there. So actually that makes a lot of sense because the division has a lot of tough right-handers. So he could find his way into the lineup a good bit.
Wheeler, Nola. You're right, we do.
Wheeler, Nola,
we have a lot of good righties in this division.
So, Yeah. And then of course, we'll go over Eli White in a second, but Kevin Pillar was kind of the last little thing to spill in, right? At the end of the winter. It was just like a couple weeks before spring training started. It's a minor league deal. He pretty much missed the majority of last year. I think he played like 3 games or something like that.
He played in 4 games. Yeah, so that was very early on. So there's nothing to go on from last year.
Right. He was in AAA
decent with the
majority
Mets
of the
in
year.
2021. Yeah.
He was good with the Mets. He went specifically to the Dodgers last year because they are the Dodgers, and he wanted to see what they wanted from him. He knew it meant he was going to be in AAA most of the year. Now, he did end up getting injured when he finally came up, so whatever that happens. But he said they completely changed his workout regimen and everything, which he has kept. So we'll see.
Yeah, and he was decent
if that translates
in AAA last year as well.
Okay, see, I didn't see what he did in AAA.
Only 42 games, but he had a 142 weighted runs created plus. So both Hilliard and Pillar, if they can translate any of that from them,
Yeah, that just shows you how large the gap is from AAA to the major leagues. Because I
would probably do okay in AAA.
Yeah, I'd probably get a couple knocks,
a couple homers. Yeah, might luck into something.
Are you a lefty or a righty?
Righty. But I did one time when I played softball. I did take a couple at bats from the left side, and I did it right.
Okay,
but I'm a righty.
I'm a switch hitter, and I had that prototypical Aussie type lefty swing. Just swing for the fences. It doesn't matter if you miss it, dude. Just swing as hard as you can. Yeah. And if I connected, dude, it was going a long way. But there was a lot of whiffs, lots of whiffs. So, anyways, Pillar, he went down AAA, but he, like I said, he did it on purpose because he wanted to lengthen his career. He didn't want to be like, okay, well, I'm just a 4th outfielder from now on. I think his motivation was, I want to get back to being a little bit better hitter because the shine has worn off on his defense. He used to be one of the best center fielders in baseball.
Yeah.
Now he's more of a left field, Toronto, maybe right field type guy. Yeah, he was great in Toronto. He didn't do last year, but Zips, again, they kind of like him.
Yes.
Same with the rest of these guys.
They're like, he's going to the Braves. That means he's going
to. They're like, Alex Anthopoulos signed him. Yeah, he's going to be fine. 255, 304, 431, 318 WOBA, 102 weighted runs created plus. They got him for 1.2 F4 with 13 homers, 17 doubles.
Even one of these guys lives up to the projections of Luplow, Hilliard, but we're pretty good, in decent shape. If one of these 3 guys lives up to and I haven't even looked at what Eli White's are.
Imagine if one guy exceeds these expectations.
And the chances are probably likely that one of them does.
One of them, Eddie. I think Eddie is going to be the guy who exceeds.
Eddie feels like the guy. Yeah.
But again, I can see all of these guys exceeding expectations.
Right.
I can see all of these guys exceeding expectations, and then other teams calling us at the deadline and being like, "Which one of these guys you want to let go of?" And because they're all good,
right? Because by then it's possible that 2 of them have solidified, have the
really solidified or whatever that spot,
it is.
And we've had to stick 2 of them down at the minor leagues.
Right.
I don't think we're going to be moving White. I don't think we're going to be moving Hilliard. But Luplow and Pillar, if a team comes calling, we're in a situation we could move one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because they're only on 1-year deals. So
right, I think about it similarly, just in terms of trading between contenders, like the Will Smith Odorizzi trade.
Right, that's the exact type of thing I think of.
Where there might be some contending team that's like, oh, we have an extra reliever we don't need, and something like that.
Yeah, and we need a 4th outfielder. The Braves have 40 of them. Let's go make that swap.
Who do we go to? Yeah. So I can see something like that. Yep.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm thinking about today, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, you motherfucker. But I could see the Braves also potentially trading like one of the lefties from the bullpen. Because, I mean, we have 3 really good lefties in the bullpen. And what is everybody always looking for at the deadline? Left-handed relievers. Like, always. Every guy or every, like, contender is looking for bullpen help. The majority of them are like, we'd love to get a lefty. Braves have a surplus. Like, I don't see... I mean, maybe Alex is also like, no, fuck that. We're keeping all our guys, which is fine by me. I think Litke has, like, I don't know, 2 years left, something like that. I know Mentor has another year left after this year. Dylan Lee has, God, he's got 5 years left. So I don't see us moving Dylan Lee.
Yeah.
Definitely don't see us moving a Mentor, but
yeah. If it was going to be that situation, Litke is the one I could see them moving.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. It's not going to be those other 2 guys. And also, maybe we don't want to trade any of those guys.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out there that, like, we've kind of compiled a lot of depth in the bullpen, in 4th outfielder, where we could potentially utilize some of this major league talent to get what we need at the deadline or whatnot. But probably the last left field option that we'll talk about here is Eli White. It was just like a super, like, random thing that Alex did on the exact same night that he traded for Lucas Litke. It was like an hour and a half later. It was like, oh, the Braves also traded for Eli White. And everybody was like, oh, okay, whatever.
It was such a random offseason.
It was. It was like, that's so fucking weird. Okay. And then Eli White just came to spring training and lit it up.
Yeah.
And he looked
he
great
was like
defensively.
The Adrianza from 2 years ago where you're like, okay.
Yeah. He was hitting homers and, like, he's hitting doubles and, like, whatever, stealing bases. Like everything you want to see.
He has options, so I get him going back to AAA, but it kind of sucks for him because, like, but he
easily could have been the guy. I mean, he easily could have forced the Braves to be like, we got to get this guy over Pilar. But when you got all those options, and a team like the Braves, who have had issues with depth late in the season over the last few years, like, I understand why Alex is emphasizing depth so much. So it sucks for Eli White, but at some point he's going to be up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great defender. And I don't think I ever actually
looked fast and
at
has
what
a
he
good
did
arm.
last year. What did he do last year?
Let's see.
I feel like he didn't play a ton, right?
So he was in 47 games. So his slash line was 200, 274, 305 with a 260 WOBA and a 67 weighted runs created plus, 0.9 WAR. So the 0.9 WAR is decent. The bat wasn't great, but he contributed
most of that would be with the glove
in
because
47
he's
games.
a great defender.
So.
Projections kind of feel the same way about him, maybe a little bit better. 213, 292, 339, 282 WOBA, 78 weighted runs created plus, 0.7 FWAR, 8 homers, 38 RBI, 14 stolen bases.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some wheels. He plays great defense. He's an excellent 4th outfielder. You got to have those guys around, especially if you're going to try to compete for 162. Shit's going to happen, especially in the outfield. I mean, God, we saw that in 2021. You know, the outfield just kind of
with 3 outfields and
was decimated by the deadline. Yeah, so that shit happens. It is what it is. But again, that's a guy we're just sticking in AAA and stashing him. And he's there for rainy day fund. So that'd be nice. Him and Luplo just sitting down there, just
hanging out, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for their chance.
For some shit
waiting
to happen.
For that call.
Yeah. So, I did also say we would kind of go over DH at the end of this episode, just to kind of hit on that, because Marcell Ozuna kind of tied into both, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a couple. He should not with all the options we have, but I wouldn't be surprised they put him out there every once in a while.
Yeah, he's probably going to play left field from time to time, and every single time we see that lineup,
we're all going to bitch.
What the fuck is Snit doing?
Doubles turning into triples.
Yeah. So it's going to happen. We know it is. It's unfortunate. Majority of his playing time should be at DH, though. So I wanted to kind of group both those in. Ozuna has looked great in spring training.
I hate to say it.
I mean, I hate to say it.
I
mean, the first 2 weeks, I remember a pod we did a couple weeks ago. We were like, they're going to have to DFA this guy. He doesn't even look scared. And then here we are.
And he really looked like he didn't. He looked like he did not give a shit. So either it was just it took some time for him, or somebody talked to him and was like, you need to pick it up because we have options, all right? We can get rid of you if we want to.
We have a whole maybe that's what it was. Maybe he saw all those things happening in front of him and he was like, look, like I got some pride to swallow here. I know I fucked up. Like I need to start playing like I give a shit.
Like he's a piece of shit. But we're paying him. So you know what? You might as well just go out there and
$16 million is a lot of money to play a guy.
Like, do I want him on the team? No, but it seems like he's going to be on the team. So I'd rather him be on the team and produce than be on the team and not.
He's going to be on the team.
That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
No matter what we think about it. Like it doesn't matter at all what we think. He's going to be on the team. Snit said that a week into spring training. We're carrying Marcell Ozuna. It just depends on how he plays, how much he's going to play.
Yeah.
So we should have just swallowed that pill at that time and just said, okay, if he's here, like at least play okay. Like at least give us something that we can hang our hats on and be like, okay, well, he sucks, but at least he's good at baseball. But
shitty person, good baseball player.
He's a piece of shit, but so was Ty Cobb, and so was Babe Ruth, and there's been a lot of pieces of shit in baseball, unfortunately. So it's going to be between him and then Darno and Murphy, who we've already kind of gone over. They could get some DH spots. We just talked about Hilliard could get some DH starts.
Even Rosario might if they want to have defense out there, but he's bad. There's definitely options with that.
I could also see Ozzy getting some DH stuff. He's gotten a lot of it here in spring.
With the arm.
If they're still trying to work that shoulder up, like they could slot him into DH. I think that's a guy they'd rather have in the field, but
it's not so much his bat that we value, but his defense,
and he doesn't throw that often either. He doesn't throw that often. He's a second baseman. He's going to throw maybe 4 times a game. Hopefully, like that would be ideal. But the option is still there. That's the good thing about the DH. If you've got some guys like Ronald was nursing some things, trying to get back to themselves last year, like
it's nice to have the DH option now. It's nice to have the option of, we can just let this guy get some at bats and not have to be on his legs or whatever the reason is. So I like that. And a lot of people are against the DH. I was for the DH from the jump. Give it to me. I need more offensive production, please.
For many years, I was, I don't know. I don't want to say a baseball purist per se, but I was like, oh man, I like seeing pitchers hit and stuff. It's fun. And then like the more I kind of got older. I mean, when I say this,
did you watch Mike Fultonevich at the plate?
Well, see, Mike Fultonevich was actually the one that I watched, and I was like, why the fuck are we doing this? I was like, this guy literally looks like he's swinging at a pinata with a fucking blindfold
spinning around like a ballerina.
Yeah. So I mean, as I became an adult, I think a lot of it was like my dad's influence, right? Because my dad's an old head, and like,
I think
don't
my dad's
change the game.
Yeah.
Like okay, whatever, man.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to be like, okay, I want the DH. But then when I started leaning that direction, it was like I just fell off a cliff that direction because I was like, I don't want just getting hurt. I don't want to watch these fucking idiots swinging bats that don't know how to swing a bat. Like
those bases loaded 2 out rally killers because the pitcher comes up
and
just
Chip Carey would be like, but at least the Braves clear the pitcher's spot, and it's like it doesn't make us feel any better, dude.
At what cost?
Yeah, the bases loaded with no outs, dude. It was like
double
whatever.
play.
So we got rid of that shit, and the DH is great for the game. Offense is great for the game. That's why the pitch clock has been great for the game. Because it is creating more offense. Mm-hmm. And
I'm all about the game moving quicker.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Me too. So yeah, we'll kind of cut it off there. When it comes to like DH and stuff like that. I think
should we look at Ozuna's projections? If you have them, I have them up here if you don't.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell me what they are.
Okay, so for Zips, they've got him for 106 games. For slash line 246, 314, 449 with a 111 weighted runs created plus and a 331 WOBA. And they project him for 1.6 WAR. Absolutely, I'm taking that from him. Oh, I saw runs. I said 55. 55. No, home runs 21. 55 home runs. Yeah, 21.
I mean, that's a slight improvement over what we got last year.
Yeah, last year he hit
it's about a 2-win
home runs.
Yeah,
but it's a 2-win difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So
very true.
I know you guys hate Marcell Ozuna. We all do. But as we said,
but if he does that, I'm going to be happy. Yeah.
He's got 2 more years, guys.
Mm-hmm.
2 more years.
What schools we've already got through 2 of the years.
Yeah.
Like we're already through 2 of the years. So we're almost done with his ass. That 2025 club option is ain't no chance in hell unless he has a monster next 2 years.
Unless he just absolutely
goes off. Yeah.
Yeah, if he's 2020,
if he has
Marcell Ozuna
if he has
2 full seasons,
20 years,
Alex might be
absolutely.
Fuck, do I turn that down? But if he's not, I don't care who he is. He's just gone. Quickest. And I started thinking if Eddie played good, do we exercise that option next year? Because that's only $9 million. And if he plays a little bit above average, if he gives us 1 F-WAR, out of left field, he's more than exceeding his pay and worth. Mm-hmm. So
exactly,
that kind of becomes interesting. 6 months ago, I would have been like, "Fuck no, we're not bringing Eddie around." Yeah. But he really does look like he looks better. Yeah. I mean, we've got a whole season to make that determination, but I could see that one possibly being optioned. So we'll see. But outside of that, left field, like we said, it just looks like a place where we're going to compile as much production as we can by cycling through a handful of toys and seeing what we can get out of it. So, but other than that, that's pretty much it for this episode of Beaneater Buzz. We appreciate you guys coming out and watching again.
Thanks,
and
guys.
We'll be back soon.
Yep. Go Braves.